Underdogs, it's Stacy from Underdog Wellness, and I have a yoga video for you today. This is going to be a little bit of gentle yoga, so just a little tiny bit of a warm-up, and then some yin yoga. So for yin, today what we're going to want is our mat, a strap. You could use a men's tie, a belt, even a towel will work. And lastly, hidden over here, I have a yoga blanket. Any blanket will do, just as long as, you know, it's got a little bit of heft to it. It's a little bit big. It can't be like a baby blanket or something really small like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, get warmed up, and we'll set the props to the side. I am actually gonna sit on the blanket. A lot of people like how that feels. Yin yoga is a yoga that it's not a very fast moving. We get into poses using props or sometimes even without props, and we hold the poses for longer periods of times, roughly 3 minutes, it could be 2 minutes, up to 5 minutes, to get deeper into the stretches and let the body open up or whatever the goal is. So it's a really nice, especially if you are an inflexible person, it's a nice way to allow things to open up. It's personally what I find, and a lot of people tend to, you know, agree with that. That's very simplified definition, but that's what we're after when we're in yin. It's not like restorative where you are completely and utterly relaxed and supportive. A lot of times with yin there is some work being done, but you're just not moving around or straining, or the breath isn't heavy. It's a much slower practice with longer holds. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start in a seated position, and whatever that is for you. I like my legs to be crossed, but my ankles on line with each other. Nothing is stacked. But if you like your legs out or whatever, just sit in a way that's comfortable for you. We're gonna rest our hands wherever. Close your eyes and take a moment or two to center. So just focus in on your breath first. And then let's just, every time we inhale, begin to lengthen the spine. It doesn't mean rigidly straight, but it means lengthened. At the same time, we want our shoulders to relax down. We want our collarbones to be nice and open. And we'll breathe through the spine as we hold. And then from there, just notice from your base, from your seat all the way to the crown of your head, how your body feels today. Looking for any places of tension or tightness or aches or pains, just what's going on today? Where are you feeling maybe some issues or anything that's going on? And just be aware of those as you practice today. From here, let's take our fingertips in front of us and we're going to walk ourselves forward. Allow your spine to lengthen, coming all the way down, reaching those hands out. Maybe your head falls towards the floor. Maybe it touches the floor, whatever feels comfortable here. And if you like to, you could sway side to side. The head could be very loose and sway as well. Maybe you're feeling stretching in the hips or the low back, or maybe you're just becoming aware of those areas. Lifting our head up, using our hands to walk ourselves back to seated, and we'll check in with our spine. From here, let's bring our chin into our chest and just allow the chin to rest. Allow the head to be heavy. You might be feeling stretching through the back of the neck, maybe in between the shoulder blades. Let's bring the chin towards the sky. Feel the throat stretch out a little bit. And right back down. And come back to center. Let's move the shoulders, making big circles. The hands can be anywhere that you're comfortable. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, dropping them back, bringing them around, but make them as large as you can. You could do one at a time if you wanted to. There's really no rhyme or reason. You just do what feels good. Just becoming aware and waking things up, loosening up some stiffness. Reverse the direction. And then bring the shoulders up into the ears and let's just go. Nice job. So from here, let's take it to a little bit of a rotation. So we're going to take our hand to our knee. Other hand will just touch the floor anywhere that's comfortable. When we inhale, let the spine lengthen. And then exhale, rotate yourself around. From the belly, the rib cage, the shoulder, finally spiraling up through the head. And we'll come back to center. Take a moment, take a breath, and we'll go the other way. Hand on our knee, take that inhale, feel the spine lengthen, and then exhale as you rotate. And come back to center. Good. Let's go ahead and switch our feet out, so that we're not in our go-to side when we sit down. So this might make our legs feel just a little awkward because it's probably not our go-to side. Let's take it to the side. So hand on the mat, we're gonna keep our opposite hip anchored, bring our arm up and over. Our head can go anywhere that we're comfortable, but lean into it and feel that nice side bend. Let's bring it back up. We'll go the other way. And come back up. Good. So from here, let's go ahead. We've been sitting on these legs for a long time. Let's stretch them out. So we'll put them out in front of us, and all we're just gonna do is just kind of pop the knees. Think of like taking a little run. Just stretch them out, and then we'll widen our feet just a little bit, and let's just rock them side to side. Working that hip joint, allow yourself to just sort of relax into your arms. We'll place our feet on the mat for a little bit of windshield wiper. So we'll just drop the legs to one side and back to the other side. And then come back to center. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my blanket because I might need it. In fact, I know my body, I will need it for the next posture. So the first one we're going to do is the square. This can be really tough on people with tight hips, like myself. What we're going to attempt to do is bring our bottom leg forward, trying to get from our knee to our ankle, our shin, parallel with the mat. And then we're going to try and take the other side and make it parallel as well. My hips are very tight, so my knee is up really high. There's a lot of space here. That is okay. What you don't want to do is just put yourself in any old cross-legged position just to get the knee down. That's not what we're after. We're trying to get into the muscles in a different way. So if that means your knee is up high like mine, so be it. That's what the blanket is for. So we'll take it. It could be a pillow also. And we're just going to wad it up, and we're going to use it to help support that knee. And hopefully by the knee having a place to rest on, this hip will release a little bit. That's it. From here, we'll see if we can grow just a little bit taller. So we want to keep that length in the spine. Our hands could be on the ground, but we'll hold right here. So you might have that tendency for the leg to try and hold the leg up. See if you can't get it to relax. And we'll bring our fingertips behind us. Use your arms to lift yourself up, lift your chest, and begin to move forward. Begin to lean forward. And that may intensify that stretch you feel in your hip. If anything doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good, you can always back out of it. You do not have to stay. Now, if you're someone who doesn't need this blanket and your leg just happens to land on top of your other knee, you could always bring your hands out in front, and maybe you're completely leaning forward or laying on your legs. We're all tight in different places. We're all built differently. So you do what works best for you. For my body, when I bring my hands forward like that, I tend to round, so I don't want to do that. I want to keep the length in my spine and focus on the stretch in my hip as opposed to trying to touch something to the ground. Now, if you feel like your leg, if you're using the blanket, if you feel like your leg has loosened up a little bit, you can scooch the blanket away a little bit and just see if that knee comes down a little further, but still use the blanket to help support it. But it probably means that you've loosened things up, and that's a good thing. That's why we practice yin. That's why we practice anything, right? We want to see results and maybe get a little bit better or loosen things up, whatever it is we're practicing for. From here, let's take an inhale. We'll bring ourselves nice and tall. Let's go ahead and remove the blanket. We'll send our legs out like we did before, and just kind of shake them out. That bottom leg might be feeling a little tight. And let's go ahead and we'll windshield wiper. We'll get into those hips. Just take it side to side. Okay. Let's do the other side. The two sides may not match, they may not look the same, and that is totally fine. This one might be your looser side or your tighter side. I think it's my tighter side. So I'm going to prop this up so that my knee has somewhere to rest into, making sure that as I'm holding the legs up that I'm not collapsing my upper body. I'm trying to stay as tall as I can using my abdominals to allow the hip to release. So we'll stay here for a few more breaths before we add anything else to it. We just want to get that leg to the point where we don't feel our hip joint, our hip muscles aren't feeling like they need to hold the leg up, that we are actually feeling that relaxation response where the knee is relaxing into the blanket or your other leg if you tend to be more flexible. From here, let's take our fingertips behind. This helps us stay nice and tall. It helps us lengthen our spine. And then we'll begin to just scooch our long spine forward. And that intensifies. I can totally feel that. Hopefully you can too. That hip. It might even be the glutes. If it hurts and you can't breathe, always back up. You do not need to stay. Maybe you're able to come more forward. Maybe you're scooching your blanket a little bit to see if your knee is able to move a little bit lower. And let's bring ourselves back up. Move that blanket out of the way. We'll shake those legs out again. And windshield wiper just one more time. Very nice. Okay, the next thing we'll do is we're going to use the strap to stretch out our legs. But when I'm on my back in this type of a posture, I like to use the blanket as a little pillow, or maybe you have a little pillow. It doesn't mean we're gonna go super high, lifting the head up or anything. It's just a little something for your head to rest on. So you could have your blanket that size. That's usually good for me. It's just a little tiny lift and support. We're gonna take our strap, belt, towel, whatever we've got, and we're gonna go ahead and lay down. So make sure you feel like your neck is supported. Let's go ahead and start with the left leg. So we're gonna put that foot right up into the center of the strap. You're gonna put the foot however you're comfortable. And you're just holding on. Feel your foot press into the strap. You can even wrap your hands so that you feel like you've got a really firm grip. Use your arms to pull the strap towards you and hold. Once you feel like you've got that, you're pretty good there. Let's go ahead and extend that other leg. And then one more time, let's pull that strap towards us. Releasing from there, let's go ahead and add the same hand, grabbing both of the straps. We're going to anchor our right hip and anchor our right arm, and we're allowing our left leg to go out to the left. Without your hip tilting or your body tilting, we want to just hold this stretch. And let's slowly bring the leg back up. We're going to switch hands. But before we do anything, let's put our foot back on the mat. We're going to shift our hips to the right a couple of times. Maybe just once, but I have a wall here, so I'm going to do it a couple of times. But once is fine. Extend your leg back down and then allow your leg to start to cross over. It does not have to go very far, and you should feel it on the IT band right outside here. And then we'll come back. Let's go ahead and put our foot down, and we'll shift our hips back into center. And then one last time, let's draw that leg, get into that hamstring again. And we'll switch. So let's put the right foot up into the strap and take the left foot to the ground, knee bent. Make sure you feel comfortable. And let's go ahead and we'll pull that leg towards us, check in with that calf and hamstring. Once we feel like we're okay there, let's go ahead and extend the left leg. And then again, pull and feel that stretch on the right side. let's release. So we're gonna go ahead and grab again, reach up as high as you can with the full length of your arm, hold on to that strap. You're gonna anchor that left hip and shoulder and allow your leg to go out to the right, as far as it will go, without your body tilting. And let's come back up. We're going to go ahead and switch, but first let's put that foot on the ground. Shift your hips to the right. Allow your leg to lengthen again, and let the leg cross over. Nice and slow, holding it there, feeling that stretch on the outside. You're keeping that rotation through the spine so the chest is leaning towards the ceiling. And then coming back up, foot on the mat, shift your hips. And one last time, let's stretch it out. Check in. Let's release it. Okay. So from here, we're just going to go into child's pose. So we're going to go with a wide leg child's pose. If we wanted to, for a little just extra, we could always fold the blanket so that it looks like about that size. Place it in between the knees, give your chest a place to land, and just allow yourself to come on down. If that's too much for you, you can always take it away, or you could scooch it back just a little bit more, kind of between those legs. Maybe the forehead touches the ground, and we breathe. Let's inhale and lift our head up and walk our hands back to seated. Just take a moment, breathe, check in, take a body scan, notice how you're feeling. From here, if we have our blanket, we're going to take it so that it looks like this size right here. And we're gonna go ahead and just fold it so that it's a little bit thicker. And then from there, we're gonna lean back on it. So this is gonna be the babiest of back bends. So we'll bring this right up to our bottom, and we're gonna lean back on it, and our head will probably come off of this. From there, let's go ahead. That wasn't quite what I was going for. We're gonna go ahead and sit on it. There we go. So what will happen is probably our upper back and shoulder area will be hanging off. There we go, that's what I was after. Our arms can come out to a T if we'd like. We're gonna lengthen our legs all the way down. So we have a little lift in kind of the mid to upper back, but our shoulder blades and our neck, head, that's all on the ground. So it's just the tiniest of back bends. We feel like our front is nice and open. If you don't find this to be comfortable, you can take it away. You don't have to have the blanket at all. We're just lying here and resting, breathing. Try to allow the chest to open up. This will be our Shavasana, so we'll be here for a little while. If at any point you just want to be without the blanket, you can do that as well and just be in your Shavasana in that way. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And rotate the wrists and the ankles. Let's turn the head gently side to side, checking in with the neck. Bringing arms overhead, stretch through your fingers and your toes. You can take a nice big breath here. Make yourself as long as possible. And when we're ready, we'll just roll to the side. You'll probably come off of your blanket, so just roll onto the side, curl up into a little ball. Using arms, let's bring ourselves up to seated. And take a moment or two to check in. Check in with the breath, with how you feel. Move around if you'd like. Hopefully you enjoyed this practice. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of movement, a little bit of stillness, and a little stretching. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Namaste.